Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Podcast 51. Today, we're going to be reviewing some stuff, and we're just going to be reviewing some stuff today. And if you haven't listened to the last episode, we're just going to be focusing on movies and TV shows. So, anything that relates to a TV show or a movie, that's what we're going to be discussing. And, that's what this podcast is just going to be all about from now on. So, if you don't like movies or TV shows, hey, maybe this is not the podcast for you. But if you do, if you love TV shows, if you love movies, if you like hearing stories about movies or people going to the movies or TV shows and stuff like that, this is the podcast for you. So hopefully you guys enjoy. But yeah, this is all we're just going to be discussing from now on this podcast. So basically, I just got HBO Max, and I just wanted to review some stuff on this podcast. So this episode is mainly going to be on some stuff that I watch on HBO Max, the HBO streaming service, basically. And basically, just going to be talking about like, what stuff I think that should be on there, and should they take over some stuff? So we're just going to be discussing that today. So I finally got to watch the famous show, regarded as, to some people, as one of the greatest shows of all time, The Sopranos. I never got to see it. I've always heard great things about The Sopranos. I never heard anybody say, "Oh my God, I don't like The Sopranos." I never heard that. So, and it's regarded as one of the best TV shows of all time, and I finally got to see it on HBO Max, and I have to agree with a lot of people. This is probably one of the best TV shows of all time. And again, I'm not a TV, I'm not a movie critic or a TV critic. So this is just me as a fan. Just want to let people know they're gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't review it right, or you didn't, do this right, or whatever. You didn't mention this." I literally just watched all 6 seasons in one go, and it was like 80 plus episodes, and I just want to think, just my opinion on why I think it's great, and where maybe other TV shows are not as great. I think the reason why it's great, I looked at the episodes and all that stuff, and each season's only 13 episodes long, and there's, I think the difference between movie and a TV show. A TV show, you get longer, you get more hours to explain the story, but then if you go too long, then you have all these filler episodes where nothing really happens. They're just there just to fill up the time or fill up an episode just to have, just to get the quota of, 26 episodes or whatever. Whereas this show, I mean, only 13 episodes a season, you get right to the point, and we just get to the great stuff. We don't cut out basically the fat of, all the filler episodes. So you don't need, I think that's one of the reasons why it's great. I'm not saying it's the main reason why it's great, but I think it's maybe it's a big part of the reason why it's great, because there's no filler episodes. There's no thing to take away from, the great stuff. So we just get to the point, and you basically get 13 hours of, they're all episodes are all like or all an hour long. So basically you get, 13 hours of greatness and of good storytelling. And then that ending. Oh, okay, spoilers. If you haven't seen The Sopranos, go watch it. It's on HBO. Go watch it. Only 13 episodes a season, and it's 6 seasons. And believe there's a season 6A and 6B. 6B, there's only like 9 episodes, I believe, if I remember correctly. But man, everybody on the show, especially James Gandolfini, who played the main character, Tony Soprano, man, he is great as this character. This is just one of the best roles I've seen for anybody. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but he embodies Tony Soprano. Like, you would believe, oh, that guy is Tony Soprano. The way he looks, the way he carries himself, the way he, the little, it's just, some of the little stuff that he does as well. And, sometimes and he is quite intimidating. If that guy comes up to you, and then all he has to do is put his hand on your shoulder. I saw his hand on the screen. I'm like, the guy's hand is huge. So he sometimes I saw this one scene where he just puts the hand on this guy's shoulder, and this guy's like, "Oh shit, okay." That literally it's all it takes. He does take it farther than that. I can guarantee that. But all he has to do is just put his hand on your shoulder, and he just towers over you, and just a big guy, and is a big personality. I think it's a combination of a lot of things where there's like just certain people who just fit in these certain roles where you're like, there's no one else who could play that role that way. That guy is Tony Soprano. That guy, like Robert Downey Jr. That guy is Iron Man. Hugh Jackman. That guy is Wolverine. There's no other, these guys are who, again, there's other people who can play multiple parts like Batman. There's different Batmans, but it's a different story. So for what their story is, that's the best character for, that's the best actor for that particular story. But for this, Anthony Soprano is, and it's spawned off a lot of other shows, and I think with HBO Max, and I've as you guys know, if you guys don't know, I have another channel called Comic Talk where I talk about comic book stuff and all that stuff. Mindless plug, but I like comic book stuff. I like read comic books. I watch comic book movies. I watch comic book TV shows. And one of the big things that takes up most of my time when they're on is the CW DC universe. Basically, it's like the biggest stuff on CW on Channel 5 that I watch. That's like the only things that I watch on TV now is like FBI Most Wanted and FBI and like NCIS, and the other ones are the DC TV shows. Some of them are great, like Arrow, Flash, DC Legend Tomorrow, Black Lightning. Some of these shows are great, but like, again, like I was saying in The Sopranos, I'm just trying to compare these two. Like the other episodes, like they reach episode they get to their 100th episode like in the fourth season or whatever. Like these are doing like 26 episodes, and there's a lot of, yeah, in the beginning, like Arrow's first and second season, just like the Flash up to like season 3 is like where it's like all the greatness. And yeah, I'm like, okay, I want more of this, more of this. And it does, like season 4 wasn't that good, and I'm like, for either of the shows. And like particularly Arrow, it was very hard to watch. And I did watch every episode, but season 4 was hard to watch. And these shows, like I lowered my expectation for some of these shows. So because they're 26 episodes a season, if you get 6 seasons, there's a whole bunch of episodes. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, but so there's a lot of filler episodes. And I think that it takes away from the show of how great it was. Like if Arrow ended after season 3, I think it'll be regarded as one of the better shows. But it's getting very restrictive, whereas where they're trying to attract a larger audience for kids and all that stuff. And some of these characters deserve more adult storylines where believe they're kind of like dumbing it down, or um they're just not handling as well as some of these shows on HBO Max, like Doom Patrol, very adult, very I think that HBO Max could do a show with some of these DC shows. I think some of the shows on the CW have like Stargirl fits on CW, where it's her character doesn't require like, oh, make all these movies are like, oh, to make it cool we need to make it a darker tone or whatever. Some characters, yes, some characters need a darker tone. Batman, like a Wolverine. If they're doing a Wolverine show, it would have to be a darker tone TV show. But I'm not saying every TV show. Like Arrow fit very well in the first few seasons. I think they started lining it up after a while, which I think just got away from what Arrow was in the beginning episodes. I don't think that. Um, yeah, some people say, "Oh, it's this the evolution of the TV show," but I'm like, it just. But when you elevate a show, you want to make it better, but like when you do that, then it just makes it worse and all that stuff. So I think some shows deserve, and on HBO, on Doom Patrol, I believe it's only like, was it 10 episodes in the first season? So I think you know, some of these shows, if they were just like 10 episodes or 13 episodes, I think that would be great. I think that superhero show would do great on HBO Max. I think maybe Stargirl could stay on CW, and then some of them come to HBO Max that need like a darker tone. I think that would be great. Like I think if Arrow would come back, I would like it to come back on HBO Max, where it would have, you know, maybe just 10 episodes a season, and it'll be a darker tone and darker uh yeah, just a darker tone, and maybe I would have, you know, some sense of humor. Like Doom Patrol is very funny, but I feel like it's like rated R or rated MA for mature audience. So I think that there's some shows that would go on there and some shows would not. And let me just review on Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is I just watched the first season. Very good. Why do I like this cyborg better than the one in Justice League? Why? Yes, the one in Justice League does look better and does look more like Cyborg, but the CGI looks off. Um, they use practical stuff. It looks like they use practical stuff on this cyborg on the show because maybe they don't have the budget for to use CGI, but it actually looks real. It looks like, oh, this looks real, and the cyborg actually knows what he's doing. He's kind of like the I just watched the first season, so maybe he takes a step back in the second season. But in the first season, he takes charge. People know, oh, this is Cyborg, and he's not even in the Justice League, and the other ones are in the Justice League. Where I feel like the other one should be not in the Justice League, and this one should be in the Justice League. I'm not gonna get into political stuff of what um, they're going through on the Justice League movie and all that stuff with Ray Fisher and all that stuff and Joss Whedon. Other podcasts you could talk about that. I'm just going to talk about what I think, just the characters itself, what I think about that. And I believe that this cyborg is actually, you know, very smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows he carries himself well. And the stuff that he has on him, maybe it doesn't look as good as, you know, the one in the movie, but the one in the movie does look fake. Like there's so much CGI, it doesn't look like there is some CGI where it's like, okay, I can't really tell if it's CGI or is that real. But in the movie, you could tell it's CGI, and maybe they'll fix that in the upcoming Snyder cut. That's why I got HBO Max. I want to there's all these shows that I have on that they have on there that's coming from like a lot of DC shows that I like, Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond. Um, Next week I'll probably be reviewing Static Shock. Never seen that show. I never got a chance to see like every episode. I think I've seen like sporadically like a few episodes here and there, but I never got to see it, you know, from beginning to end. And I think that I'll be reviewing that next week. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay tuned for the next episode. But yeah, this it's just one of those things where it's like I'm just comparing, you know, HBO Max and like CW, where these superhero shows they are getting better taken care of on the show. Oh, and I'm getting sidetracked from Sopranos. Um, but yeah, The Sopranos, I I really do agree that it's probably one of the best TV shows of all time, and it's just all these characters are. I just love the interactions from each character, and like Polly and Chris and, you know, James, Tony Soprano, like all these the people who they interacted, you believe like, oh, these people live in this real world and all this stuff, and it's just so believable. I don't know, it's just, and if they were to do a movie or whatever, I don't know if they were in talks of doing a movie or something like that. I don't know if that's great because some of the cast is not here with us. You know, James Gandolfini, um, sadly passed away in 2013. I just looked it up, and after watching Sopranos, and I've been watching a lot of Sopranos podcasts. I love, you know, watching other podcasts and stuff like that. And like Pajama Pants with like with the kids from Sopranos. I'm like, oh, but they don't really talk about Sopranos, but they were on the Sopranos, so it's kind of a Sopranos podcast without being a Sopranos podcast, if you get what I mean. But there's other, the other ones with the one who played Chris Maltasanti and Bacala from Sopranos. Those guys are doing their names escape me right now, but they're doing a podcast where they are watching like every episode and reviewing every episode, rewatching basically The Sopranos, and I think that's great. And they have guests on from The Sopranos and all that stuff, and people who've been on The Sopranos. They just talk about what how it was on The Sopranos and what was like on set and all that stuff, and the writing and the shots and all that stuff. And the shots and the cinematography in the show is phenomenal, like movie quality stuff. Like if movie quality storytelling, but like in just longer form. You're like, I want more of this. So the Sopranos show is basically um movie quality stuff, but like 13-hour season movie. So it's like I want all the movie, and it delivers on everything that it it just delivers on everything. And again, I'm not a huge reviewer and all that stuff, but I just think that this show is and it transcends generation, because like there is some stuff that is a little bit dated, but like the story's so good, and the you still get the jokes, and you still get okay, I still get this. But some of the stuff is dated. There's a little stuff like Anthony Soprano in the later seasons. I see him, he had the razor. Remember the razor? Remember the razor phone? That razor phone was, oh my god, that razor phone was like, if you had that phone, you were the coolest guy ever. I think my grandma had one, and that was the phone. That was it. That was the phone like before the iPhone, where it was like, this phone is the, excuse my friend, the shit. That phone was the shit, man. So but yeah, so there was like little stuff like that, like the internet and all that stuff. But like that stuff still is like the story is still great, even though it ended in 2007, I believe. It was from 1999 to 2007. I watch it right now, and I still get the jokes. I still get the dialogue. I still get all that stuff, and I still think it's a show that, like, oh, it's an old show or whatever. You never seen it, go watch it. I never had the nostalgic feeling of yeah, maybe there's some people who hype it up, but I'm like, maybe some people like some stuff and some people don't like some stuff. And I agree that just from the cinematography itself, the dialogue, um, there's one scene where you could just tell, like, especially when Anthony Soprano wears a suit, he just, with the shoulder pads, he's making his shoulders look even bigger than they actually are. And there's a shot where like the lighting like shadows half of his face, and he's like smoking a cigar, and you could just tell this guy is like, that guy is, and you just tell he's this intimidating guy, where he's just a big guy, and you don't want to mess with him. Like, you just see some stuff where this guy called the police, and he saw some guy do some murder or whatever. Then he find out who it was. He's like, he called the police. He's like, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't see anything. He called the police again. He's like, oh, I didn't see anything. So but yeah, that and when they deliver, and they just deliver on all this stuff. And it's one of the first I've heard some other people, but yeah, but I've kind of guessed that, yeah, first anti-hero, because he's not really a hero. It's a guy in the mob, basically. But well, not basically, he is in the mob, um but you're like kind of rooting for him. You don't want him. There's some scenes where I'm like, oh, wait, don't get caught, don't get caught, no, don't get caught, because I never seen the episode, I never seen anything, any episodes or anything. So um but I'm like, you kind of root for him, because this guy is like larger than life. He has all the money, he has all these women, the business that he's in, basically gets to do whatever he wants. And later in the stuff where he does get humble, where he does get again, spoilers if you haven't seen it, go watch Sopranos. So this is a spoiler kind of review. I've already spoiled some stuff, but where he gets shot by the uncle and he's in the hospital and he basically sees the light or whatever when he's gonna go die and stuff like that. Where I actually kind of believe maybe is this the episode where he dies? And I know there was more seasons. How did they trick me? How did they trick me thinking that he was gonna die when I knew there was more seasons and he's the main character? How did they do it? Clever storytelling, and that's how they did it. Yep, that's how they did it. And yeah, I thought that he was actually gonna die, and I'm like, oh, how does he even get out of this? But it's just so seamlessly. Even like the stuff where they're dreaming and all that stuff. There's some sequences where he's dreaming, and they make it known where he's actually dreaming and stuff. So that stuff is cool as well, where it's like some unnatural stuff is happening where, these characters have died from previous episodes. So, and then they come back, and it's just the subtle stuff where you just see like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I remember that guy from that other episode where he was in season one. Now then he comes back in season four and he's like in a car with Tony, and I'm like, wait, is this a dream or is this what's going on? We just make it so seamlessly, like, oh, is this a dream or is this? And just the cinematography is just like, it was just mind blowing. But we're at the 21-minute mark, so I just want to say that if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. If you're watching on any other platform, make sure to follow, and make sure, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at pod_cast51, where again, I know I said in the last few episodes, but again, follow me on pod_cast51, where I'll be posting all this stuff of when I'll be just posting, all this stuff. Like maybe I won't be doing it a Saturday because every Saturday, new episodes are going to be coming out. So make sure to go follow me on there. All the information about the podcast will be on there. Make sure to hit the link in the bio, the link tree in the bio, because I'm on Spotify, on Amazon Music, on Listen Notes, on just all, anywhere you can get your podcast. I'm still trying to get on Apple Podcasts. That's the next big one I want to get on, but I'm on Spotify. I'm on again Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. I'm on Listen Notes now, and on a few other ones. And on Podbean, and yeah. So make sure to go check that out on the Instagram. And again, we're going to be talking about, when I have guests on, we're going to be debating. If you like movie debates and all that stuff, we're going to be debating what's, in future episodes, not just in one episode. We're going to be debating what's the best sports movie, what's the best video game, video game turned to movie, what's the best Christmas or holiday movie or Christmas movie. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Just some fun debates like that. And be discussing people's favorite movie and TV show, and be discussing stuff like that, or best comic book movie, best animated movie outside of Pixar, 3D animation outside of Pixar, or the best Pixar movie as well, because I have a lot of, like Shrek or Ice Age, or which one's better, Shrek or Ice Age, which, some DreamWorks movies and stuff like that. So we're just going to be discussing that. So if you like that kind of stuff as well, we're going to be discussing that in future episodes, maybe next episode, plug. And so if you like that kind of stuff, and, some stories like this one, I'm going to be sharing a story, and then next episode, I'll be discussing what was my first movie that I saw in the movie theaters, and that'll be interesting. That's an interesting stuff. So I'll be discussing that one next episode. But this episode, just a funny episode, funny one, a story that I have is: have you ever seen a movie so bad that the next movie you saw was the greatest movie of all time? I have. Oh my god, I went to this movie where I was going to me and my mom were gonna go watch the new Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic World when it first came out. We were gonna go watch Jurassic World, and is Jurassic World the greatest movie of all time? Probably not. Did a lot of people not like it? Yeah, some people didn't like it, but for me, it was the greatest movie of all time in that moment when I saw it because we were gonna go see Jurassic World, but then uh, a person we invited us to go see a silent movie. Now, I don't have any problems with watching a silent movie um, or a black and white movie. Like, oh, you don't like black and white movies, or you don't like silent movies. I've seen silent movies before. Um, I've seen black and white movies before, like what was it with Orson Welles? Rosebud. Which one was it? Citizen Kane, I believe it was called. Oh my god, that was like one of the greatest movies I've seen all time. And I remember watching that one in the theater, black and white movie, and just the story of that movie and Orson Welles in that is just he's one of the greatest actors of all time, and he shows it in that movie. And just the subtle stuff that they don't say, but they do, like with the wife and him, where they're getting farther apart, but every time they eat dinner, they're getting farther apart as well. Just the symbolism of that, and just some of the stuff where you just you don't have to say everything that's happening. You just show it with just clever cinematography and clever stuff. So back to the story where I was going to this. Oh my god, I forget what the movie's called. Um, but it was by like a street that um it was like in a hall or whatever, or it was like in a like an old theater, an old, theater where what an old theater looks like. So going to old theater, and they got us, free tickets to go. So we're like, okay, because we were gonna go see Jurassic World, mind you. So keep that in mind. And we were gonna go see Jurassic World, but then they called us to see, oh, free tickets to go see this movie. And so we go see this movie. Oh my goodness, it was the most boring movie of all time. Oh my god, it was so boring. You should have seen my face. I was like, it was one of those movies where I was rooting for the villain to kill the the main character, and a lot, may, some people like that. Hey, that's more power. I believe that's why I like movies so much and TV so much. There's a TV show and a movie for everyone. There's different genres. Some people like horror movies. Some people like sci-fi movies. Some people like westerns. Some people like this genre, that genre, silent movies, black and white movies, vintage movies, indie movies. Hey, if you like that movie and you go enjoy that movie, that's fine. And I won't be like, oh, you don't like good movies because you like that movie. No, if you like that movie, hey, that's you like that movie. I'm glad you like that movie. When you watch it, I'm glad that you enjoyed the movie. When I go watch a movie, hey, I'm gonna go watch a movie that I like to go see. So I already know I'm gonna enjoy the movie because this is what I like to see. Batman movie, superhero movie, sometimes horror movies. It depends on the horror movie. Um, we'll get to that in the next few episodes as well. Horror movies. Oh my god, don't get me started on those new horror movies. But back to the story. Yeah, this movie was so boring. I was actually um it was about like it was just about like the actual person like this street or city was based off of, and it was like from like basically the early 20th century, and man, it was just it was so boring that it was just one of the things where I was like, I'd rather be looking at a blank wall. It was much more interesting than this. And hey, it was I was by far the youngest person in the theater by like 40 years. Besides my mom, it was probably like 40-year gap difference. That, hey, you like what movie you like, but and I don't mind reading subtitles. It's not like, oh, I don't like reading subtitles. There are silent movies that I've watched that are actually, that are funny, that are have action in it. That's what I want to see. Give me some comedy. Give me some. That for me, I want to see a movie that has, some comedy, some action. If it has either one of those things, I'm good. John Wick movies, does it have comedy? I don't remember really laughing in John Wick, or John Wick movies, but they have action, badass fight scenes. That's what I want to see. It had none of those stuff. So, oh my god, I was actually rooting for this person, the bad guy, to actually get the main person. Have you ever, have you ever watched a movie so bad that you were rooting for the bad guy to get the main person? Have you ever watched a movie that bad? I have, and I was like, oh my god. When the movie was finally over, and this guy was like, "Oh my god, they wanted a Q&A." I was like, "I'm out of here. I don't want a Q&A. No, I'm out. Bye." Intermission, more like I want to leave at intermission. Now intermission, come back and stuff like that. Oh my god, I wanted to leave so bad. I kept looking at my mom like, "Please." I want to leave so bad. This is so bad. Why this movie? But yeah, it was, and then finally, we got to go see. I think it was probably like a few days later. We finally got to go see Jurassic World, and oh my goodness, was maybe would I have a different opinion on Jurassic World if I hadn't seen that movie before? Probably, I wouldn't say, it's actually, it's okay movie. But when I saw Jurassic World, oh my goodness, it was the greatest movie of all time when I saw this movie. That's how bad the other movie was. It made Jurassic World the greatest movie of all time. That's how it made me feel. It meant like the action, the big dinosaurs, the runaway scenes. I gave every um bad thing that happened, the bad thing from Jurassic World, and I was like, this is the greatest movie of all time. I can't believe no one can top this movie. This is the greatest cinema of all time. Everybody should stop making movies because no one's getting better than this movie. Was I wrong? Probably. Yeah. Of course. This is Jurassic World we're talking about, not um a Martin Scorsese movie or a John Hitchcock movie or um it's not one of the greatest movies of all time. It's not even in, I don't even think it's probably in the top 100 greatest movies of all time. But for me, it went to the top. It was like no one's can beating this. I forgot about every other movie I've seen. This is the greatest movie of all time. Alrighty, we're gonna probably be ending the episode probably right now. So yeah, we're gonna end the episode right now. Because I don't want to give everything away in this episode. So if you enjoy this episode, if you enjoy movie talk, if you enjoy TV shows, if you enjoy, debates about movies, consider subscribing. Consider following me on Instagram. Consider liking the video and follow me on all the other platforms. I would be grateful if you could do that. Yeah, and we're gonna be probably shooting for hour episodes. With this episode, I just wanted to review some stuff like Sopranos and talk about what I think about it. And hey, was it in-depth review? Probably not, but I just want to let you guys know I'm reviewing stuff as a fan, and I'm not a movie critic. I'm just not a movie critic or a TV critic or whatever. I'm just trying to review it as a fan, and because I know there's other people who probably reviewed it better than me. But as me, I just want to be myself, and I want to say, "Oh, this is why I liked it. This is why I thought this was great," and yeah, that's how it is. So again, please consider subscribing, following, uh, giving thumbs ups, commenting down below if you ever had a similar experience where you've seen the worst, if a bad movie experience. If you've seen a bad movie, make sure to let me know what movie was it, and what was the movie did you see after? Did you think the next movie was the greatest movie of all time, or did you just forget about that bad movie and it was just yeah? Because yeah, there is some movies that are so bad that they're good. Yes, there is some movies like that, like that are just so dumb and don't make any sense. But you're like, wow, that actually that was pretty funny how they think that it's actually good, but it was just so bad. Like movie parodies, like superhero movie with Jake Bell. One of the probably earlier movie credits of Kevin Hart. He was not even um he's probably the biggest star in that movie. But if you look it up, he's probably like the sixth or seventh person listed on that movie. Like, and Drake Bell, surprisingly, he does play Spider Man late or voices Spider Man later. But yeah, superhero movie is like one of those stupid movies where it's actually funny and it actually is like, what? That is so crazy. They actually did that. Highly recommend that. I need to watch that again. Um, but this movie was just bad, where you're like, oh my God, they're so boring. It's not even fun. There's nothing funny about it. There's no, you could tell this is a serious movie. There's probably other people liked it. But for me, it was just so boring. There was like nothing going on. I'm like, what? Oh my God. So, again, make sure to let me know if you're listening to this on YouTube. Comment down below. What was your worst movie that you saw? And what was the next movie? Did you think it was the greatest movie of all time, like how I did with Jurassic World? Again, subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, pod_cast51. And yeah, again, every Saturday we're gonna be posting new videos. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.